That you, Gambit? Logan? Here. Need some help with those hard-to-reach spaces.
Yeah, Mom.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't given a shit about Marvel animation since like Avengers Assemble or something. Even though it was a major step down from Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I liked it. But as the show went on, the writing took a massive dip, and the writers also developed this toxic, incessant obsession with making the show as close as possible to the MCU, which was a problem since the animation budget was also reduced, leading to the final season looking like this. When the trailers for a card game nobody played looks better than your mainline animated shows, then you know you fucked up. Even What If featured an admittedly interesting premise, still somehow devolved into an MCU cocksucking. So you can understand why I didn't care about the revival of a long dead franchise. But man, when I saw a clip of the X-Men finding out that there are two Jean Greys and realizing that they might do the Madeline Pryor Goblin Queen storyline, I knew, yeah, this is gonna be good. Without further ado, let's get this over with. Let's get this out of the way first. I haven't watched the original X-Men animated series, but I have watched every other X-Men animated show, every movie, some of the comics, watched any X-Men adjacent standalone movies, even the weird motion comics one, and consumed an embarrassing amount of top 10 nerds. So it's fair to say that I know enough to have a general feel of the characters, their dynamics, the broader mutant world, even the knockoff X-Men. Yeah, I said it. What? So, the show begins with the X-Men right after the alleged death of Charles Xavier. We see how some of the characters are dealing with it, like Jean, who wants to leave the X-Men to start her own family with Scott. Scott, who's not sure if he can leave the X-Men without a proper leader. Or Storm, starting to muse about living as a normal person in the human world. But whatever their feelings, they all still collectively push forward with this mission of mutants and humans living together in peace, since, even though humans know about mutants, most still find it really difficult to accept them.
And with good reason.
And this is why the show first stood out for me, since it doesn't take the usual boring, oh, mutant have power, thus government wants them for weapon, or oh, mutants look like freak, thus me hate. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is some of that, but it's not at the forefront. The reasons can get more interesting, like the case of this doctor whose dislike for mutants doesn't really come from a place of hate, but from an existential crisis that mutants
are the next step of evolution, thus the rest of humanity will be left behind.
Or Barrow's mom, who wants to hide her son's mutations, since mutants are controversial right now and might scare away investors from her billion-dollar company. Or Bastion, the main villain, who has knowledge from the future and knows for a fact that humans can achieve a peaceful utopia, but if they use mutants as the backbone to build it. Or Mr. Sinister, who...
Pig pens brimming with mutant test subjects. That's my dream.
Okay, he's just a psychopath. The point is, the writers have a really fun way of conveying their themes and messages, mixing in just enough nuance and campiness to keep you entertained and know when to drop them when things need to get serious. And no one benefits from this style of writing more than Magneto. At the end of the first episode, just when Jean and Scott are about to announce that they are leaving the X-Men, Magneto shows up with Xavier's written will and testament, basically leaving his life's work to Magneto. That includes the mansion, his finances, and his X-Men. And at first I was like, the X-Men will find out it's fake and be the shit out of Magneto before the end of the episode.
No.
Wait, it's actually genuine? Okay, we've seen this before. Magneto will use the X-Men for his own selfish, probably evil goals and will impose a more tyrannical rule on the X-Men. Wait, what? Magneto himself is shocked that Charles would entrust him with his life's work and takes it as a challenge from his long-dead friend to achieve his mission better than he ever could. Magneto isn't entirely off the hook either. He's taken to trial where he tries to plead for a pardon. The public is obviously outraged and attacks the court in an attempted assassination.
Oh, to play by the rules and still they come for you.
Leading to this beautiful scene.
All the X-Men have done is use their awesome power to protect a world that hates and fears them. Behold their reward. What must we do to be good enough?
No! Let us go! No!
Bigot. Ingrate. sycophant worm. So small I could smite you with a step. There was a time I would smite you all for what was done to Storm. But today, I have saved you from your own. For an old friend has challenged me to remember this view of Earth. Charles Xavier entrusted me with his dream, and it does not ask you to love or embrace my kind as your own, but merely to accept that this is a shared world, and that my kind, like yours, have the right to live in it. I am trying to be better. Do not make me let you down.
Mind you, he says this while holding them 700 feet in the air. Sure, he proved that he's willing to change, but they can't exactly say no either. This and some creepy shitty pulls in Genosha shows that he might be good now, but he still hasn't lost his edge. I mean, the first thing that Mance does after legally joining the X-Men is cuck Gambit. I mean, Gambit is suave and all, but the writers also have this obsessive, incessant need to make this 90-year-old man look so baby girl.
And I promise you, child, you shall never be afraid again.
Anyway, the rest of the series can be divided into 3 parts: pre-Genosha, Genosha, and post-Genosha.
Look at you, a villain playing dress up as a hero.
Storm lost her powers in the attack. This and her already entertaining a normal life among the humans, she decides to leave the X-Men in an effort not to burden them with her inner conflict. But before they can even digest what happened, another Jean shows up with his memories about her past. But after some experiments from Hank, they realize that the new Jean is actually the original Jean, and the Jean who's been around this far is actually the copy, which is a problem, since if the Jean with the consistent memories is the copy, then that means it's basically impossible to know when they were kidnapped and switched. This leads to the now fake Jean having a mini existential crisis, making it easy for Sinister to brainwash her and turn her into the Goblin Queen. She then has an incredibly animated fight with the rest of the team. Oh, my boy Gambit, he can't get a break from the cucking, even in his subconscious. Anyway, by the time the original Jean gets her bearings and manages to snap Madeline out of it, she'd already given a baby to Sinister. He then proceeds to infect him with a techno-organic virus that is incurable in their time. But conveniently, Bishop can use his time machine to get the boy to the future where they might find a cure. Okay, look, Cable comic fans already know where this is going.
Eyes. You made it. You survived.
And this is where the series starts showing its problems with pacing. For some bizarre reason, the first few episodes feel like they are in a hurry to get somewhere. Like, okay, Jean goes from good to conflicted to evil to good to forming a new personality in the span of 15 minutes. This is an incredibly interesting idea that I feel like should have gotten more time to breathe, which, funny enough, is the exact opposite problem I have with the What If show, which takes an incredibly boring premise and stretches it out for ages. Oh yeah, now Scott has 2 wives and a conundrum. Whatever will he do? Since he can't really be with one without betraying the other. Also, they are both psychic powerhouses, so whenever he's with one, the other knows, even if it's from literal continents away. Mance can't even chill in peace. He's also initially drawn more towards Madeline, since her being the mother of his child is kinda the only thing he can be sure of in the confusion. Which is fair, but still, this is an incredibly difficult situation with no proper morally right way of handling it. But I will admit, it's hella fun watching the characters stumble their way through it. The series even plays with the idea that the original Jean doesn't exactly feel him the same way as she used to because of her missing memories. Therefore, she might not actually love him, she just remembers loving him. And Logan, fucking Wolverine, the guy who can't stay away from redheads, realizes that he has an actual shot with the original Jean Grey, who might be developing feelings for him, and shuts that shit down, even helping Jean through the confusion and helping her realize her feelings for Scott. Absolute child, this man.
I am Storm, Mistress of the Elements!
As a new X-Men 97 viewer, the first thing that you'll notice is that each character speaks in their own distinct, character-driven, campy way. Like Gambit, who refers to himself in third person. Beast, who speaks like he's the Doctor. And Storm, who speaks like she's from a Shakespearean tragedy. Which really helps in bringing the scenes where she's talking about her powers or herself to life.
The breeze is gone. I cannot feel it, nor the moisture. nor the air. What has he done to me? I miss soaring. The wind in my hair, so powerful it's hard to breathe, but so fresh as to be worth it. Please, winds, hear me. Please.
So, Storm's story is about getting over her mental block and inner doubts that are keeping her from accessing her powers well after she's already cured from the attack. But I think I'm missing some parts of the original story from the original animated series, like how does she know Forge? Why does she trust him so easily? There's also this mystic bad demon thing that shows up that I thought was just a physical manifestation of her doubt. Then magic shit started happening and now she's cursed and now she's cured and wearing black. Okay, I guess.
Old friend, you should have seen it. It was just as you said that day in the bar.
One of the main consistent traits of Magneto in most media is wanting to build a safe place for mutants, not to just be safe, but to thrive in, build their own society, their own culture, their own art, fashion, food, dance. That's the whole idea behind Genosha. And again, it's beautifully illustrated in the show. The whole Genosha arc from beginning to tragic end is chef's kiss. Oh god, okay, where to start? So, the Mutant Council wants to elect Magneto as the leader of Genosha, and he agrees to do so only if Rogue rules beside him as his queen. He says that having a member of the X-Men in such a high-ranking position with him will garner some positive press on account of his past actions of, terrorism, but we all know why. Oh, we know why. And she accepts, leading to this heartbreaking conversation with Gambit.
You gonna accept his offer?
If Genosha's shown us anything, it's that we don't need to be afraid of change. And if I can play a bigger role in bettering the world, well, that's the whole reason I became an X-Man.
You never wanted to make things official. I respected that. I played the swamp rat.
And I played your share. All the expectations, every time looking at you, seeing all the things I couldn't do.
Like telling Gambit the dang truth.
I can't touch you, Remy. Your heart may beat for me, but I can't feel it. You light up everything you touch, but never me.
Something's a bit deeper than skin, Cher. Till then, we be friends, mon ami. Just friends.
Again, can I just say how good it feels having the main characters be adults? I swear to God, if this was the usual Marvel schmuck, there would have been some mind control fuckery going on, but it's not. These are two grown adults making a heartbreaking decision for the betterment of the many. It's beautiful. Again, the scene being enriched by the distinct way the two characters are voiced by AJ Locasio and Lenore Zahn. Okay, the voice actors have had their time to shine. Now it's time for the animators and the music producers to stretch their legs. To commemorate the beginning of Genosha, a gala is to be held. And my god, it is hands down the most beautiful thing that Marvel has ever produced. Look, I know that shows like What If can be beautiful, and it requires a lot of hard work and talent to make, but it's got nothing on this. There's barely any dialogue for the entire party sequence, but you can tell exactly what every character is thinking. This one 2-minute scene has more nuance than the entirety of Phase 4 and 5.
They'll never know what you sacrificed.
And unfortunately, it's just to lull the viewer into a false sense of security for the tragedy to follow.
How many?
Too many. So many. Some vile Godzilla sent them. You go at it, you end up dead.
Save as many as you can. We shall not live our days wondering if we could have saved more.
Don't stare at it! You hear me?
He's trying to protect us, Rogue!
Hab keine Angst.
Gambit Theo back. Embrace it! God's always be in my favor!
Mutant intruder neutralized.
The name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it.
I can't feel you.
Obviously, the genocide of an entire mutant population starts up the tension in the world, since now everyone fears the mutants will revolt. With good reason, and Rogue, having lost the two people she cared for most, goes absolutely ballistic, tearing through government bases, kicking butt, taking names, all to find the Doctor who we talked about earlier, since he built the Sentinels.
Thought your kind were the good guys.
You killed those, Sugar. Now, you get me.
She's so brutal that she runs into Captain America and then tosses his shield when he refuses to help. When the X-Men eventually find him, he's on the verge of demonetizing himself because of the guilt of all the lives taken by his machine, expressing that genocide wasn't his initial intention, that someone else fucked him over. Rogue helps him from the edge, asking him who the real bad guy is and what his intentions actually are. Then, when he proves no longer useful, well...
I'm sorry. I have nothing.
Same, Sugar.
Ironically enough, it's because Rogue decided to end this guy that the actual villain of the plot is discovered and then confirmed by Cable and Beast.
His name is Bastion, and he used the fallout from Genosha to get backing for his Prime Sentinel program. The Prime Sentinels are created using the same techno-organic virus Sinister infected me with as a baby, rewriting their DNA.
If true, his Prime Sentinels would be living weapons capable of reproducing, literally giving birth to a new apex species designed to replace mutants like humans did Neanderthals.
Also, Magneto is still alive. How the fuck did he survive that? Bastion's androids are all activated and start hunting down the mutants. I also love this small scene where when the androids are in front of people, they go for a more peaceful approach, wanting to only call a Robalto and Jubilee. But when no one's watching, they are willing to jump in the way of fucking airplanes to kill their targets. Jesus Christ. Magneto, not being so jazzed about all his hopes and dreams going up in flames and mutants being brutally hunted down, drops a worldwide EMP, killing all the electronics, Bastion's androids included. He also pulls a giant chunk of the earth and holds it over North America, effectively declaring war on the entire planet. Oh, and not just the people. He also coincidentally kills the planet's magnetic field, like Jesus goddamn. Charles eventually shows up from his honeymoon and oh yeah, Charles was in space getting it on with his alien girlfriend. Just by the way, the show doesn't want to elaborate on it and neither will I. What the fuck is Wanda doing off-world? Scarlet Witch in it. But since this is a competently written show, he now has to face the consequences of up and leaving to bang aliens and leaving his life's work to his terrorist friend, leading to this amazing confrontation with Scott.
I wanted you two to be free. I wanted to spare you the weight of your loyalty to me. You were my first students, and you graduated a long time ago.
And what would freedom have gotten us? No matter what, I'll always end up here. Don't you know that?
That was my fear. From the moment I first met you, that you would help build a world where mutants could live however they wish, but that you would never allow yourself to enjoy it. Because just like you, I'm right back here.
Is that character nuance in a Marvel show? You know, maybe this isn't the worst timeline after all. And not just Scott. Magneto himself shows up and asks the X-Men to join him in his war against humanity, explaining that they tried it Charles' way and it didn't work, so now it's time for a more direct approach. So now the X-Men have to split up. One team to try and convince Magneto to restore the Earth's magnetic field, and the other to fight Bastion, which he himself calls ironic. Since, in order to save humanity, you know, the people that despise mutants, they have to actually help him in wiping out mutants. It's a lose-lose scenario. Also, Sinister does his mind-altering shit on Cable, just like he did to Madeline, leading to him having to fight Jean. How could he even stand a modicum of a chance? Well,
my real mother was a world-class telekinetic, just like you. Stuff tends not to skip a generation.
Okay, look, I can accept that Cable has telekinesis, okay? But I don't believe for a second that he can go up against fucking Jean Grey and win. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to call bullshit on that one. And I know it's contrived since it leads to her having to use the Phoenix Force to get the upper hand.
The Phoenix Force is gone now, but I could feel it deep inside.
Oh, come on. That's just studio talk for. We know that was an asspull, but don't worry. We won't do it again. Probably. The rest of the gang are busy fighting Magneto and his group. Well, calling it a fight is generous. More like Wolverine starts Magneto and he loses his shit, taking out each and every one of them. And Charles has to do some morally dubious mindfuckery to force Magneto into restoring the world's magnetic field. Which, in dramatically cruel irony, the first thing the government does after getting their power back is plan how to shoot the X-Men out of the sky. Bastion decides that he wanted first on the mutant massacre and decides to fly up there himself in order to get in on the gangbang. Little did he know that even with the cards stacked against them, the odds are always in the X-Men's favor. The name's Gambit. Remember it!
Humanity is going extinct.
No, they're having babies. And more of them like us.
There's just one pickle, dear. Humanity would rather die than have kids like us.
Grab on!
God, I love the show. So with Asteroid M, yes, that's what they call it, falling out of the sky, everyone is working to try and delay it. While Xavier works to restore Magneto's mind after he fucked it up to oblivion. Again, showing the strong bond between these two fucked up friends who just want the best for mutant kind. Magneto wakes up and obliterates the asteroid. But to everyone's surprise, the X-Men vanish along with it and are missing, presumed dead. Cliffhanger ending, anyone? Okay, that's enough glaze, Jesus Christ. Let's talk about the negatives. The whole Bastion android plot makes zero sense. You want to tell me that the government hates mutants so much that they'd agree to human experimentation? Like, okay, Bastion turns a whole city into androids, random citizens, parents, and no one bats an eye? Yeah, I don't buy it. Also, he gets random teleportation when the plot needs it, and never uses it again, even on the verge of death. Speaking of random powers, what are the limits of Morph's abilities exactly? At first, I thought he was just a shapeshifter a la Mystique, but he turns into Quicksilver at some point and has super speed. So, if he gets the powers of whoever he morphs into, then that's a problem, since he could just turn into Magneto or Bastion, and the entire final act never happens. Look, okay, I'm not opposed to people having a copy style ability, but it needs well-established limits or it breaks the entire plot. Let's talk about Rogue. I get not being sure of what you want, but if you are not completely into someone, I think you should tell them before showing up to their party, dancing with and kissing them, you know, just food for thought. The government chooses to prevent Magneto from maybe dropping an asteroid on North America by blowing it up and dropping it in North America. The fuck was that, my dude? Okay, now time for random stuff I liked. I like that Jean and Scott share mind link. It's very Miss Martian and Superboy, and I like Young Justice, so yeah. It's more confirmation of how much they love and trust each other. I also love that in the final act, they all randomly wear their Silver Age outfits for no reason. Speaking of comics, everyone speaks like they are straight out of a comic book. I touched on it earlier with the Storm portion of the video, but pretty much everyone does it. It's so campy, and together with the more cleaned up retro style of animation, works to give the show its own unique feel that you really can't get anywhere else. Did I mention how pretty the animation is? Because
To me, my X-Men.
this guy fucks. They teased Apocalypse for season 2, so that should be fun. And if it's anything like this first season, then yes, more of this please. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks. I love you. Like and subscribe to get Mutant Powers IRL. Okay, bye.